So in this presentation, we are going to talk about emotions, beliefs, and paradigms, and we will try to understand how they work and how they affect us. So our experience of life, our experience of ourselves, how we feel about ourselves, how we feel about our life, and how optimistic or pessimistic we are about our life and our future, to a very large extent, it depends upon emotions, beliefs, and paradigms which we have. So that is what we will try to understand here. So emotions are something which we all know, we experience them on a daily basis. So fear is a emotions. Fear, anger, jealousy, all these are emotions which keep troubling us. There are positive emotions also, but they are not a problem. Beliefs are our assumptions from which we are functioning in life, and we think they are true. So, for example, let's say if I believe that stock market is risky, then I will not invest money in stock market. So my belief is stock market is risky and it is dictating my choice to not invest in stock market, right? So beliefs are assumptions which we think are true, but we have not verified whether they are true or not. Okay. And paradigms are our worldview. Paradigms are a set of beliefs which together form our orientation or our attitude about something in life. For example, all my beliefs about money, all of my beliefs, I have multiple beliefs about money, and all of them together, they finally form what is my attitude going to be towards money, what is my orientation going to be towards money, whether I'll be conservative or whether I will be liberal, whether I would be willing to take risk or I'm going to be simply not taking any risk. So paradigms are set of beliefs which finally kind of decide our attitude and our orientation about something in life. Okay, we will understand this with more examples as we go along. Now emotions, the important thing to know about emotions are that whenever anything happens in life, let's say someone had a breakup with boyfriend, okay, or someone got a low appraisal rating, or someone lost some money in stock market, right? So different events are there, but finally the painful part of the experience is the emotions which we are experiencing, right? So finally whatever is happening, the emotions they generate, that creates the problem. Okay. And most of the time emotions are a problem only when we want to hide them, when we want to suppress them. Otherwise emotions, they get triggered, they get generated. If we are open to feel and express them, they will come out of our system. They become a problem because many times we want to suppress them. And many emotions will be coming from our beliefs and paradigms, in the sense that emotions are the effects and beliefs and paradigms would be the root cause of those emotions. For example, if my belief is that I should be perfect, I cannot lose, I should never lose in life, I should be perfect, right? If that is my belief, then receiving a low appraisal rating would be a lot more painful because it is contradictory to my belief, right? Similarly, if my paradigm about money is making me very conservative, very risk averse, And then if I lose money in stock market, it will be creating a lot more emotional pain compared to someone who has more liberal views about money, and that person will simply work or function from sometime I lose money, sometime I make money, right? So most of the emotions which we experience, which create problems for us, they have their root cause in beliefs and paradigms from which we are functioning. And our beliefs can be categorized into three categories. One is we have beliefs about world. For example, beliefs about politics, money, economy, government, etc. Then we have beliefs about people, you know. So we could have a belief that people in general are kind, caring, and reliable, or we could have a belief that people are fundamentally selfish and unreliable, right? And then we have beliefs about ourselves, that I am a bad person, I am a good person, I am wrong, I am strong, I am good, I am bad, right? So we have beliefs about world, we have beliefs about people, and we have beliefs about ourselves. And when our beliefs are matching with reality, if they are matching with how things really are, then they are not a problem. Then they are healthy beliefs. They are supporting us and they help us to go after what we want in life. But when we have beliefs which are not matching with how things are, but they are more idealistic in nature, that this is how things should be, then they create lot of conflict, then they create lot of suffering for us. So let's see with some examples here. So I have taken three areas of life which are important for us. One is money, second is relationship, third is job or our work. So we'll try to see our beliefs here and how they actually work here. So if I have these set of beliefs that earning money is challenging and hard, and unless someone takes advantage of people, you can't really be rich. So all rich people are rich because they have taken advantage of people. And money makes people selfish and arrogant. Money is the root of all evil in life. And I am not a money minded person. I don't need a lot of money. So if I have these set of beliefs, then they together form the paradigm about money, and my attitude finally would be don't take risk in life, because if you lose money, earning money is going to be challenging and hard. And therefore simply earn what you can earn. Don't try to earn a lot of money because that can make you selfish and arrogant, and just keep saving money for your future, because anytime finally money is hard, right? But this kind of attitude about money is not giving us a lot of freedom about how we want to live our life. If we want to change our experience with money and change our experience of life through money, then we will have to question these beliefs, right? And when we want to question these beliefs, like earning money is challenging and hard, is it really true? It is not always true. Some people are struggling in life, but there are many people who are earning a lot of money and who are not struggling, who do not find it challenging in life. Okay? And then there are people like Warren Buffett who have made billions of dollars without taking advantage of people. Then there are very rich people who are very humble people, who are very grounded people, down to earth people, right? So when we question our beliefs, we find that most of them are not always true. And when we question them and when we are willing to change them, then there is a possibility that our attitude and orientation about money will change and our life experience will change, right? If that is what we want. Now, let's take example of relationships. So relationships create most of the pain, suffering for many people. Okay, and for most of people, most of the cases, the bottom line is this, that I feel I am entitled for this in my marriage, and I have these set of responsibilities or obligations. And my wife, she also feels certain sense of entitlement, and she also feels she has certain obligations to meet. Now, if my sense of entitlement matches with her sense of obligation, then my expectations would be met. And if her sense of entitlement matches with my sense of responsibility and obligation, then her expectations would be met. But most of the time, this doesn't match. My sense of entitlement doesn't match with her sense of obligation, and her sense of entitlement doesn't match with my sense of obligation, and that creates the friction, right? But we don't really see this, and this happens because we have different value system. What is important to me is not really that important to her, and what is really important to her, it has no importance for me, right? So when we are functioning from different value system and do not realize that, that will also create a lot of pain and suffering, because our expectation would still be based on what is important to me, right? And finally, with a lot of frustration, a lot of pain, a lot of fight, a lot of conflict, we keep insisting that other person must change, right? Which rarely happens, if ever, because people don't want to change, people don't like to change, especially when someone else is demanding that, right? So if we look at the situation from belief perspective, we are operating from belief that I am entitled for this in my marriage, which is not really true in this case, because my wife doesn't feel that she has this obligation, right? And at the same time, I am functioning from this belief that what is important to me is also important to her, which is also not true in this case, right? So if we look at from the belief perspective, we realize that we have certain beliefs which are not matching with reality here, and that is what is creating most of suffering. And once we realize that it is our belief which is at the root of suffering, then we can question them, then we can change them, then we have a new possibility. So now let's take a third example. So third example is related to job. Okay, now if my belief about my job is that my boss should be a nice person and should understand me and therefore should be kind and caring towards me, now this belief could create a lot of suffering for me, because sometime I will have bosses who would be nice and caring for me, and sometime I will have bosses who would not be so nice and who would not be so caring for me, right? So the question is, my belief that my boss should be a nice person and understand me, is it really matching with the reality? Is the reality that all bosses are nice people? Which is not the case, right? So unless my belief is that sometime I will have nice people as my boss and sometime I will have people who are not so nice to me, then accordingly I'll be more prepared, accordingly I will have expectations from my job. Otherwise it will create a lot of pain and suffering for me. And other thing which becomes a problem for many of us is we are functioning from the belief that, if I'm taking a lot of stress, if I'm taking a lot of tension, if I'm doing a lot of sacrifice, that means I'm doing my best. And if I'm doing my best, therefore I should be rewarded. Okay? And when our reward doesn't match with what we were expecting, we feel that we are being unfairly treated. Okay? And then we sulk, then we withdraw, then we judge, and then we resent. Right? But if we look at here from the belief point of view, our belief here is if I'm taking a lot of stress and tension, that means I'm really doing a lot of work and therefore I'm doing my best. But it's quite possible that I'm taking a lot of stress and tension, but the output is very ordinary, right? And finally, in a corporate setup, my reward will depend upon how my work stand out in comparison with the output of my peer group, right? How my work, how my capabilities are standing in comparison with my peer group, that will decide the reward which I will get. Also, how much of confidence my boss has on me, right? So if I function from that my reward depends upon my work, my competence, my perception of how my boss perceives me, then it is matching with reality. And then if I'm using that as a belief, that then I will work towards something which can actually give me the reward I'm looking for. But as long as I'm functioning from this belief that the more stress I'm taking, it gives me the right to be rewarded, it is not matching with reality, right? So once we correct our belief that I want to be rewarded and my reward comes from the comparison of my work, my output, and how my boss perceives me, then I will focus my effort, attention, energy towards that, and I will feel more empowered. So, what makes beliefs really tricky? So, the first of all, most of us don't know that we are functioning from beliefs, right? We have no awareness that what I am functioning from, my expectations are coming from beliefs which are questionable, right? And because we don't know we are functioning from belief and which belief we are functioning from, we are not able to question them. And the third thing which makes beliefs really difficult is every belief is kind of self-sustaining. Okay, so if I have belief that people don't like me, then all the time I would be vigilant about clues as to where all people are not liking me, and I will ignore many instances where people actually are liking me. Right? So every small incidents, I will reconfirm that yes, it proves that people don't like me, and it will generate the same kind of emotions which are supporting it. And therefore, beliefs are self-affirming, which makes them self-sustaining. And sometimes they become part of our identity, you know. So we tend to we tend to function as if that I feel like this because this is how I am, because of who I am, because of what I am, this that makes me feel the way I'm feeling, right? We don't realize that what I'm feeling is not because of who I am, but because of my beliefs about either me or about the world, right? So that is why beliefs about our identity, about ourselves, they can become really tricky to identify, and they can create a lot of suffering in life. So let's take a example here, a hypothetical case. So we have a person here who is from who is born and brought up in a lower middle class family in a small town somewhere in India, and currently he is working in a multinational firm somewhere in a cosmopolitan city in India or maybe abroad. Okay, so this person didn't have a very happy childhood, and he was timid and introvert during his school days, and he was bullied also in school. He was good in studies, he received praise from people and friends. He was very shy with girls, and he finds other people are more extrovert, clever, and smart. Okay, and he thinks that he should be more clever, smart, and outgoing, and he would like to have a personality where he is life of the party kind of person, right? That is what he wishes for. So his experience is he feels like an outsider to every new group of people. Okay, and he has difficulty in relating with people because he is always self-conscious, and he feels ashamed about how he is feeling inside. He doesn't want the world to know how he feels, that he is feeling inferior inside. And he is very desperate to prove himself to others. Okay? He wants to prove something, that I am also someone, I am also special. So when we look at a person with this kind of profile, and when we try to identify the beliefs from which he is functioning, then most probably we'll find that his core beliefs are, I am not lovable, I am not good enough, and I should be extrovert, smart, and clever, and I must become successful to be accepted and loved. Okay? Now, the trouble is, unless the person is aware about how belief works, what beliefs are, and its effect, the chances of that person finding out that these are my core beliefs are are nil, right? So that is why it becomes tricky here. So despite being well educated, having good looks, and having a well paid job, the person could feel like worthless inside. So ideally, our worldview, which is consisting of all our beliefs, okay, about all our important topics in life. So our worldview, our paradigm, it should allow us to feel empowered. It should allow us to be successful. It should help us to be successful. It should allow us to pursue our desires, wishes, dreams, and goals, right? It should allow us to have meaningful relationship. It should support us. It should help us to create meaningful relationships. And finally, we should feel excited, hopeful, and optimistic about our life. And if this is not how we feel about our life, then most probably it needs, it requires that we expand and tweak our current paradigm, or we imbibe a new paradigm. So some of us have a very dysfunctional paradigm about almost everything, too idealistic about everything. Then probably it is much better to totally imbibe a new paradigm rather than trying to correct the existing paradigm. But what makes changing your paradigm tricky is that changing paradigm means changing your beliefs, right? And whenever we want to change our beliefs, it requires us to go through emotional discomfort, right? So whenever I am trying to take any new step out of my comfort zone, the emotions I feel make me very discomforting, right? So so for example, let's say so far I'm functioning as if I'm okay with my life, okay? But tomorrow if I decide that okay, I would like to have public speaking as my skill, I would like to learn and become a public speaker, which is outside of my comfort zone, right? So whenever I'm going to take any step to become a public speaker, it will create a intensity of emotion which will say don't do it, right? And that discomfort is something which I will have to deal with. So we need a new attitude towards the discomfort. We need a new attitude towards going out of our comfort zone, right? So we need this framework that I have a paradigm which is not helping me, which is a limiting paradigm, and I'm trying to expand my paradigm so that I can live a life which is more fulfilling to me. And when I'm expanding my paradigm, it is creating this emotional discomfort. And therefore, this discomfort is actually a good sign for me. Right? So we need this new attitude towards emotional discomfort. Okay. Then we need a new attitude about failure, mistakes, and judgment and rejections. Right? Because Because whenever I'm going to try something new, I will experience failure initially. I will fail many times in many areas, right? So if my current paradigm doesn't allow me to fail, then I cannot even try something new. So most fundamental paradigm which we need should should have this provision that I can fail, I can make mistake, I will look dumb and stupid at times, I will feel like stupid and dumb at times, I will feel like why did I do such a dumb thing, right? But that's okay. I cannot live a meaningful life without making mistakes. And finally, we need the emotional muscles to handle judgments and rejections because they are part of life. That is what life is, that is how people are. Most people judge other people. We also judge other people. And most people have freedom to reject our ideas. Most people have freedom to choose someone else in life. And therefore, judgment and rejections are part of life. I am going to experience it and it's okay. Right? So I need this very basic, most fundamental attitude, most fundamental paradigm that failure is okay. I will experience failure. It's okay. I will make mistake. It's okay. I will experience judgment. People will judge me. I will experience rejection and it's okay. Something else is more important in my life, more than experiencing failure, more than making mistake. And I'm okay doing that. I'm willing to experience failure. I'm willing to make mistake. I'm willing to experience judgment and rejection because I want to live a fulfilling life. Something else I want to achieve. Something else I want to experience. Something else I want to create which is more important to me. And I'm okay to experience failures, mistake, judgment and rejections. So that is the most fundamental paradigm which we need when we want to embark on this journey of healing and changing our paradigm. So finally, I have listed down few tools and techniques and processes here, because now we have understood theoretically the importance of beliefs, paradigms, and emotions, right? But we will need certain tools and techniques and processes when we are actually working with them. So the first thing is, even though the real change in life happens when we are working on our beliefs and paradigms, most of us would need to first work on emotions, because most of us have a lot of suppressed emotions from all painful experiences of life, right? So when we have a lot of suppressed emotions, then it is difficult to identify beliefs, because most of the time we are very reactive. Okay, so that is why most of us will need to first work on emotions before we can go and work on beliefs and paradigms. So when we want to work on emotions, there are three techniques. There are many more techniques, but three are something which I have listed down, which I would recommend. The first is called emotional freedom technique. The second is called Z-point process. The third is TAT process, which stands for Tapas acupuncture technique, which is especially useful for processing your past traumatic experiences. And when it comes to beliefs, the first thing we have to do is we have to identify them, and then we have to question them. So sometimes it would be easy, but sometimes it would be very difficult. So we need a very structured process for that, and Byron Katie has created a very structured process to work on beliefs. It is called the work. So the work is a very prescribed process to work on beliefs. And finally, when we want to change our paradigm, either we can create our own paradigm, that this is what I believe, this is what I value, this is important in my life, and this is not important in my life, and this is where I would like to dedicate my time, effort, and energy. Right? Either I can create my own paradigm, which could be difficult for most people, or we could refer to books or various kind of modalities which offer paradigm. So access consciousness is one such modality. It offers a complete paradigm, almost complete paradigm about all important aspects of life. And access consciousness has not only paradigms, it has many tools and techniques and processes and frameworks and clearings which are very empowering basically. So it actually helps you on all three. It will help you to work on emotions, beliefs, as well as paradigms. But with the access consciousness, there are two limitations. One, it is very costly. The second is, most of the paradigm specific suggestions or guidelines, they are very bold, very different from normal day-to-day assumptions and beliefs about life. So some of us will find it very difficult to accept them. But overall, access consciousness is something very unique, very powerful, and if you like it, if you get opportunity, you should go for it. So with that, we are at the end of this presentation. I hope you found this presentation useful. So thank you once again for listening to me. Have a nice day.